GoPro might rule the action camera market, but that hasn't stopped competitors from trying to state their claim. Xiaomi firmly put their name on the map with their original budget action camera, and now they've taken things a step further with their latest attempt to undercut GoPro, with an action camera that combines the best of what GoPro's Hero 4 lineup has to offer at almost half the cost, named simply the Yi 4K action camera. Unlike its predecessor, which targeted GoPro's lower level cameras, the Yi 2 has its sights set on the big guns, GoPro's Hero 4 Silver and Black editions. Inside, the Yi 2 contains a newer version of the Ambarella A9 chipset found in the Hero 4 Black, coupled with a built-in 3-axis gyroscope, accelerometer, and electronic image stabilization, all while carrying battery life that's double that from the Hero 4 Black. On paper, the Yi 4K action camera certainly looks like a stronger camera than even the mighty Hero 4 Black edition. When it comes to the package though, it's rather basic, and other than the camera itself, a battery, and a single USB charge and sync cable, there's nothing else included, none of the mounting options you'd receive with competing units. Talking of keeping things basic, the camera unit itself is light and constructed primarily of plastic, and on the face of it doesn't look like anything special. Alongside some branding and a status LED, we have the main f2.8 7-layer glass lens that offers a wide 155-degree viewing angle, similar to the GoPro. Behind this is a Sony IMX377 image sensor, again the same as that used with the Hero 4 Black edition, capable of capturing video at 4K 30 frames per second, as well as stills with its 12-megapixel sensor. Powering this is an Ambarella A9 SE75 chipset, which is a newer version to the A9 chip used in the Hero 4 Black, so should provide the same, if not better, capture quality. Nevertheless, on one side of the device is an integrated micro USB port covered with a rubber flap used for charging the battery or transferring content to a computer. On the top, users will find a dual microphone system and an inbuilt speaker alongside the single button on the entire device with an integrated LED used for powering the camera as well as starting or stopping capture. There are no other mode or settings buttons, since everything else can be accessed through the nice large 2.19-inch touchscreen built directly into the rear of the unit. Powering the camera is a 1400 mAh battery that Xiaomi claims is capable of lasting for 2 hours if you're filming in 4K, or 8 hours in standby mode. If Xiaomi's claims are true, the Yi 2 is quite the battery improvement over GoPro's Hero 4 Black edition, which only has a shooting time of 55 minutes. Nevertheless, this is inserted into the bottom of the camera, where users will find a sliding door revealing the battery cavity, as well as a small microSD memory card slot. Bearing in mind you'll want a fast microSD card to take advantage of the high resolutions offered, up to 128GB being supported. An integrated metal tripod thread finishes off the unit. While the exterior may seem a little basic, it's actually visually rather attractive and completely functional. Everything has its own place and works rather well. The company has also included 6-axis electronic image stabilization, as well as a built-in lens distortion correction tool that automatically removes the distortion caused from the wide-angle lens. Features you won't find on the Hero 4 Black, and if it performs the same, if not better, this could be a fantastic little gem. A quick tap of the single button promptly fires the cameras up and activates a nice large display, and what a display it is. This is hands down the best display I have ever seen on an action camera. The 640 by 330 screen with 330 pixels per inch takes it to retina equivalent levels, meaning you literally cannot see the individual pixels. It's even covered with Gorilla Glass to withstand scratches and other knocks, and unlike other action cameras, the capacitive sensitivity means no harsh pressing. Just like a smartphone screen, a slight touch is all that's needed. Coupled with a 160-degree viewing angle, already I'm seriously impressed. Getting past that incredible screen, the camera itself is very simple to use. A semi-translucent bar across the top with current mode, memory card and battery status information, along with playback, shooting mode and settings across the bottom. Alternatively, sliding down from the top of the screen opens a quick access menu, again with that semi-translucent background giving it a premium feel, with options to quickly enable or disable the camera's wireless and Bluetooth, as well as lock the screen or power off the camera completely. Sliding up from the bottom provides access to the 9 different shooting modes, all pretty standard modes we'd expect from most action cameras. The top status bar changes to reflect the currently active mode, while a horizontal sliding motion instantly switches back to video shooting mode and then toggles between video and the last shooting mode that was chosen, basically tailoring the camera between video and your second most common shooting mode. A very nice touch. The playback menu is rather self-explanatory, accessed with a quick tap and playing videos at a slightly reduced frame rate through that gorgeous screen. Finally, the settings can be accessed just as easily and provides access to 2 menus. The first menu tab is dependent upon the current chosen shooting mode, so if photo was selected for instance, we are shown all photo options. With the video mode selected, we see all video options and so on, nice and easy. Nevertheless, here we see the video resolution options ranging from that 4K at 30 right down to 720 and even 480 at 240 frames per second for super slow-mo effects. Further down we have some more advanced level options such as white balance and ISO. Note that some options like the electronic image stabilization or the lens distortion correction are not available when shooting at 4K, since the camera needs some extra space around the frame to stabilize the video. Hence you'll need to drop down to 1080p to enable these settings. Otherwise, the default camera settings include everything we'd expect to see, including Bluetooth connectivity for an accompanying remote control to be used. Of course, we have the standard Yi smartphone app, which is as easy to connect to as usual thanks to the camera's built-in wireless connectivity. Some slight lag still exists, but nothing too noticeable and still rather impressive. Otherwise, we can change settings, playback content, and operate the camera as normal. Although with the ease and simplicity of using the camera directly, coupled with that superb rear screen, I found I had little need for the app in the first instance. So it all comes down to performance. On paper, the Yi 4K camera seemingly offers more than the Hero 4 Black, and I have to admit, after taking a look at how the unit performs, I'm seriously impressed. Video quality is great, fantastic in fact. Dare I say it, it even has a slight edge over the flagship GoPro. The GoPro still has ProTune of course, and if colour grading in post, you'll be able to generate true cinematic clips, but as a generic point and shoot style camera, and for those who just want great quality straight out of the package, the Yi 2 is just as sharp, slightly more vivid and colourful straight from the camera. Also note that this camera produces true 4K video, not the interpolated 4K resolution that most other budget cameras provide. While shooting in 4K at 30, the GoPro's 1050mAh battery can capture around 50 minutes of continuous footage, edging to an hour if you're lucky. Thanks to the 1400mAh battery in the Yi 2, along with the lower power consumption of the Ambarella A9 SE chipset, which also runs at a lower temperature by the way, users are able to record up to 2 hours, and throughout my testing I've found that to be rather accurate, achieving around 116 minutes to be exact. When shooting in 1080p, the lens correction works rather well, pretty much eliminating that standard fisheye effect we generally receive with most wide-angle action cameras. The electronic image stabilization also works well, helping to smooth out footage in the most part. It's not completely perfect, but a good step up from the lack of any stabilization in cameras such as the Hero 4. As for other modes, burst mode captures at 30 frames per second, the looping and video plus photo mode works perfectly well, and slow motion is available at up to 240 frames per second, although at 720p, while up the resolution to 1080p and you'll still achieve a respectable 120 frames per second. Better still, the camera actually creates slow motion video on board. There's no need to edit clips later on, a great time saver when creating video projects. Still images are just as good with plenty of detail, good sharpness and rather accurate colour reproduction. No complaints here. When it comes to shooting under lower light conditions, some noise is evident, which is expected from such a small sensor, although the Yi certainly performs rather well. It's easily comparable to the quality one would achieve from a GoPro, so should keep most happy. All in all, the performance certainly matches the camera specs and I've been left easily impressed. The common perception is that the Yi 4K action camera is a replacement of the original Xiaomi Yi, although it's more an addition to the product line at the upper end. It's comparable to the GoPro Hero 4 Silver and Black editions, the latter of which has no built-in screen, while the former has no 30 frames per second at 4K. The Yi seems to be the best of both worlds, delivering full 4K resolution at 30 frames per second, not the interpolated 4K we've seen with other budget units. With impressive hardware and a fantastic rear screen and menu system that are a joy to use, the battery life is brilliant and the overall camera performance is exceptional. Throughout use it kept cool thanks to that A9 SE chipset and continued to deliver fantastic results. There are some downsides though. There's no waterproof case included, it's a separate purchase, and even then you can't use the touchscreen if it's in a case. Add to that, image stabilization, while it works very well, isn't available at 4K resolutions, and there's no ProTune mode, so no way to lower sharpness or capture with that flat colour for grading in post-production, although rumours are that Yi are working on a ProTune mode for release in a future firmware update. If you're a professional using ProTune, then the GoPro Hero 4 Black is still the camera you'd lean towards. For those who just want to point and shoot and want GoPro-like results, even better in some cases, the Yi 4K action camera is certainly the one to go for. At almost half the price of the flagship GoPro, it's seriously good value. Unless you really need ProTune, it's easy to recommend over the Hero 4 Silver, and with a ProTune mode possibly added in a future firmware update, it will most likely topple the Black Edition too.